In July of this year, 2025, China was affected by severe flooding, with China Daily, a national newspaper, reporting that 329 rivers exceeded their flood control alert levels as the main flood season began. The continuous heavy rain led to mountain floods, landslides, and urban waterlogging in various parts of the country, impacting infrastructure. In early 2025, 329 rivers had exceeded the levels. Causes: continuous rain, increased upstream runoff were primary drivers of the flooding. The types of disaster: the heavy downpours caused multiple types of natural disasters, including mountain floods, landslides, and again, urban water logging. The flooded affected vast areas across China, with specific instances of severe flooding reported in Guangzhou province. The impact: authorities focused on preventing casualties, dam collapses, and damage to critical infrastructure, while also dealing with the impact of flooding. The climate change context: experts linked this intensifying storms to the result of floods to climate change, which is predicted to be more frequent and heavier rainfall events, according to many sources. Dams: with over 90,000 dams in China, authorities also released water from dams, which further caused the flooding in some areas, such as Rojian County in Guangzhou. We can continue and we can recap. China in July entered its official flood season. Disaster was already sweeping across the nation, from the smoky industrial belts of the north to the farmlands of the south. Unrelenting rains merged with swollen rivers, turning into what should have been a routine monsoon challenges into nationwide nightmares. The water didn't burst in a single wave. They crept up day after day, tightening their grip until the whole process was drowning by the 4th of July. Chinese officials submitted and admitted 329 rivers have surged past their danger line. But this was the statistic lies after a darker truth. This crisis was not only nature's wrath, it is a result of human arrogance. And at the very heart of this stands the most controversial symbol of modern China, the Three Gorges Dam. Once glorified by the Communist Party, ultimately triumph of engineering, that dam is now seen as the Achilles heel. When it was inaugurated in 2003, state media boasted that it could withstand once in a 1,000-year floods. Later, that went down to 100. I think we talked about this a long time ago before. The cracks in the illusion both are, or can be real, are widening due to the ease of strain. Authorities unleashed up to 11 floodgates, dumping 44,000 cubic meters every second, a amount that could submerge Westlake in Hangzhou countless times. Officials framed it as a necessary move. Locals called it as it truly was: state-orchestrated flooding. In reality, Beijing chose to shield upstream industries hubs and sacrifice downstream villages. Politics won. Ordinary people lost everything. A hydrologist who I think lives and works in Germany, called Dr. Wong, according to him, the flood control was never the dam's true purpose. It was a business scheme. Hydropower profits for elites on China's east coast. Experts recommended lowering reservoir levels before the season rains. Instead, the reservoirs were filled to the brim, wiping away any of its safety margin. When the downpours arrived, panic followed and the floodgates were forced open. Wong this said it was a grey rhino, so to speak, a disaster everyone sees but leaders refuse to face. And the problem doesn't end with one mega dam. China hosts nearly 90,000 reservoirs built decades ago and decaying and unstable. Sudden midnight discharges became routine, erasing villages under the cover of darkness with no accountability, and still the propaganda machine can't hide everything. The dam itself is showing alarming ages of stress. Beijing concedes there have been minor shifts. Independent researchers suggest far worse cracks under pressure, growing seismic activities, and the raising instability. Earthquakes in the area surround the dam have been multiple, more than 30-fold since the reservoir was ever filled. Even NASA pointed out a chilling fact: the dam's immense weight actually slowed the Earth's rotation. It is more than a flawed engineering. It is a tragedy carved into concrete. There is a way to break through the project. 1.3 million people were forced to move their homes, the largest relocation ever by a single construction. 13 cities, 140 towns and 300 villages vanished underwater. Priceless heritage sites were lost forever. While displaced families sank into poverty, the real gains flowed into coastal giants like Shanghai. China's dam history makes the danger even starker. In 1975, the Banko Dam collapsed and was kept secret for years and claimed over 230,000 lives. The wounds still haunt survivors. Now the experts warn that the Three Gorges Dam falters through poor management or collapse in an unstoppable storm. The result will not only be catastrophic flooding, it could be delivered as a mortal blow to the Communist Party's grip on power itself. The Three Gorges Dam, if it fails, could shatter the regime itself. For decades, the Chinese Communist Party wrapped its image of control and modern progress around this single structure. But if it cracks physically or symbolically, it could trigger a domino effect of chaos that could not be stopped. Warning signs are already flashing. On June 29th, the Sichuan Basin, hammered by torrential downpours in the late evening, as some parts of one reservoir outside Chengdu began spilling into relieve the pressure. Within days, the potential capital was sinking underneath the floods. By July 3rd, entire districts were submerged. The disaster isn't slowing down, it's speeding up. The Yangtze River swells. It's not just the testing strength of concrete, it's testing the survival of the political empire.